Last week, I posted a video about airline stocks were about to fly higher, and yeah, we now have a confirmation of that, especially by looking at one of the first to post earnings, United Airlines. All right, but let me dive into this with you and see exactly how it makes sense if you bought those stocks, United, American, Delta, Southwest, whatever. If you bought then, right now you will be sitting in a lot of cash, all right? So let's go over the details. United Airlines expect first profitable year since 2019, and the stock pops. If you look at the stock after hours, it is up almost 8%, 757%. This will be a very interesting trading day tomorrow for United. Why? Because this is a stock that was already beaten down, not only as this whole sector was beaten down before, the war within Ukraine and Russia, because of jet fuel, obviously going up. So high increase in cost for the company or companies across the board, but also COVID was not really, but now everything is changing. All right. Even though oil is still remaining at what, 100.3 or 103 a barrel. For some reason, United, it's expecting not only the first quarter to be profitable, but they have a surprising guides for the full year profit. What you have to think in consideration is when a company publish earnings, not only the publishing earnings about what happened in the last 3 months, all right? So this is what we did for the last 3 months. But they also provide what we call a guidance, meaning for the rest of the year, this is where we see things happening in terms of our cost, in terms of our revenues, in terms of how we're going to manage the money, etc., etc. So by looking at the guidance, things are looking pretty damn good, especially if you look at what happened yesterday with mask mandate being dropped from within airplanes and in some states, transportation. So that gave another boost into the sentiment that, hey, as we head towards, summer season, which is going to be a busy season for airlines, well, it's a good thing because this was kind of stuff that was preventing some customers, some people from not taking airplanes. It may sound weird, but it's true. Now, on top of that, if you add to this the fact that across the board, when it comes to travel, as of now, if you think about Booking.com, companies like Booking.com, you should think about companies like Expedia. They are experiencing the most bookings volumes ever in the entire history of the company. So definitely and clearly, airlines will be the one to benefit from it. So United reported a first quarter loss of $1.38 billion or 4.24 a share. This is an improvement from a loss of $7.50 a share a year ago. Revenue rose to $7.6 billion, up from $3.2 billion a year ago. And analysts average were expecting a loss of 4.82 and a share of revenue, 4.82 on the EPS, per share, and 7.67 billion according to FactSet. So they're kind of in line. So it's really about the guideline. And this is the comment. The airline has a bullish outlook on the future, bolstered by this persistent strength on demand and the fact that it's nearing 2019 operating margins. And once again, reiterated confidence in its long-term United next targets of adjusted pre-tax margin of approximately 9% in 2023, which is good, and about 14% in 2026, meaning that when it comes to next year and in the next 3 years, they're actually looking at business growing, all right? The company stated in the release that this confidence is underpinned by the company's current expectation to report a profit for the full year of 2022. So this is a company that was losing money last year and definitely lost money in 2020. But now for the first time, they're looking pretty damn optimistic about the first year in 3 or 2 years that they will actually start making profit back. So it does make sense to make a thing. Now, the thing is, if you bought when I did recommend, buying the stock, I think it was around, around the 40s, somewhere here, all right? Not even there, somewhere here, the 40s. So if you bought there, you will be sitting on 12% now. But if you consider what the stock is already at past the $50, that is a significant amount of money you would have made, all right? So just another way of looking at, how to analyze a company, how to analyze a sector, and how to make sure you position yourself at the very early stage to make sure as it starts going back up, you will also start piling the gains and money. So definitely a good swing trade candidate. Congrats for those of you who actually made the call on this. And now the question is, does it make sense even to buy now? I would say still yes, because it hasn't really went back to pre-pandemic levels. It is still sitting very, very lower to where the stock was before the pandemic. But if you paid attention, they are going back to profits, they're going back to bookings, they're going back to what the business used to be before the pandemic. So we still have at least 50% potential upside to be made here. A no-brainer for me.